Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Kamil Torczewski, and I have a pleasure to welcome you to my third webinar for the Hult Prize India. And this time we are going to talk about creativity and idea generation. So we are going to cover briefly 3 rules/tools for creative idea generation. So some simple tips how you can improve the number of ideas during the idea generation process. And also during the second part, I would like to talk to you about is the creativity a skill or maybe a gift, like some people used to think. And I would like to discuss with you some approaches you can use to improve what I call the creative muscle. Let's say some kind of a ability to use creative thinking on a daily basis. So I hope you will find it valuable. But first of all, my name is Kamil Torczewski. I am from Poland, currently working as a CEO of the White Raven Academy, also working as a Six Sigma trainer consultant. White Raven is one of the leading companies in Poland and in this part of Europe when it comes to providing training and consulting solutions for big companies related to Six Sigma, lean, continuous improvement, problem solving. So that's my area of expertise. And as we are an experts with problem solving, we have to be as creative as possible. That's obvious. Okay, let's start. First of all, if you have a piece of paper and some pen, please, this is my question for you. You can see a very, very simple shape on the screen. It's a square. And my question is, please divide this square into the 4 parts with exactly the same shape and the same area. Try to write it down, try to draw it, think for a while, and generate as many ideas, as many solutions as possible for this very, very simple task. And again, the task is to divide the square into the 4 parts with exactly the same shape and exactly the same area. So have a time like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, try to generate as many solutions as possible. Have fun. Most of you has come to some solutions, and at least from my experience, for most of the people, what you can now see on the screen are the most common solutions for this task. I'm curious, do you have the same or not? And I'm curious also if there is anybody who has another solution which is not shown actually on the screen. Let me ask you the next question. What do you think? What is the number of solutions for this particular task? It's a very simple task. Divide the square into 4 parts with the same shape and the same size. What is the number? What is the number of solutions? Let's guess. You can write the answer on the attendee chat. From my experience, people used to say, okay, there is something like 5 solutions, maybe 6. Some people are saying maybe 10. But actually, the proper answer is there is unlimited, infinite number of solutions for this particular task. Let me explain it to you. If you can imagine, like on the screen, you can see it now, that you start to slowly rotate these 2 lines. It's a moment in which actually you've got an unlimited number of the solutions. What is more, you can make some curves instead of the lines and then multiply them by 4. Actually, you can do with this part of the line whatever you want. You can make a zigzag, you can make a curve, you can make a different lines like a scissors, and then multiply it by 4, and you will come with plenty, hundreds, thousands, actually infinite number of the solutions. The only limit is your imagination. And you know what I'm going to show you by this? The rule number 1, remember, if it comes to creative process, if it comes to idea generation, you have to remember that rule number 1, there's always at least 1 more solution. The problem is not that these first solutions, this one, are the wrong one. They are good solutions, but the problem is that most of the people stop thinking just after finding the first solution, sometimes after finding second solution. And that's a killer for the creative process. So you have to remember, for every single task, every single problem, actually there is unlimited number of the solutions, and the only limitation is in your head, and it's your constraints that you're taking by yourself. So remember rule number 1, there's always at least 1 more solutions. Even if you have 100 solutions, remember there is 101. If you have 101 solution, remember there is at least 1 more. So one of the tools you can use to improve idea generation process, according to rule number 1, is what I call the forced ideation. The forced ideation, it's simply just setting some kind of a goal, like 21 ideas for something, or 10 ideas for something, or 100 ideas for something. So it works in a very simple way. You are just setting up the goal for your problem, and you are trying to, for example, achieve 100 solutions for having a better day, and you are writing down the solutions as long as you achieve the goal, achieve the number. And there is the fundamental thing in this process. You have to believe that there is an infinite number of the solutions, and the only limitation are the only limitations are actually in your head and in your way of thinking. So, simple exercise. You can try it. Write down 13 ideas about, for example, how to improve your sleep quality. And remember, even if you stop after 3rd or after 5 or after 7, try to put at least one more. After putting at least one more, remember there is definitely at least one more. And you are doing this process until you achieve the 13 ideas. Let's try. If you want, you can put your 13 ideas on the attendee chat. It seems sometimes even silly or stupid to write, 13 or 20 or 30 solutions if you are not able to generate more than 2. But this is one of the ways we can use to improve actually output from the generation process by using a little bit what I call forced ideation, which means just set a goal and try to reach this goal. What's important here also to say, during writing these ideas, you have to forget about the quality of these ideas. We are not talking about quality at all. We are talking about quantity, and this is what is important. So please do not care, do not pay attention about the quality of these ideas. Just write down one after another, one after another. If they will be stupid, if they will be even, unbelievable, impossible, doesn't matter. What counts, it's a number. Okay. So first of all, remember, there's always one more solution, at least one more solution. Let me ask you the next question, and let me give you the next task. The task is very simple. I hope all of you guys, you know what is manometer. Manometer, it's a device which is used by engineers and by pilots or by common people as a tool for measuring the pressure, usually the air pressure. And the question is, and the task for you, tell me how to measure the height of the building by using manometer. Think for a while and please write down your answers. Manometer, it's a tool for measuring the air pressure. How to measure the height of the building by using the manometer. Think for a while and write down your answer. Okay, yeah, I asked this question hundreds of times. You can try it also with your friends and colleagues. And 99% of people, most of the people, answer these questions in the following way. They say you need to measure the air pressure on the bottom of the building and then measure the air pressure on top of the building and then calculate the height of the building. And actually, the answer is correct. But if you're a little bit familiar with the accuracy of the manometer and the height of the even tallest building, you will know that the accuracy of this kind of solution will be very, very poor. So the question is, do you see any other solutions than this one, which comes at first for most people? Okay, so let me show you some alternative ways for answering this question. How you can measure the height of the building by using manometer. For example, you can drop the manometer from the top of the building and measure the time until it reaches the ground, and then quite precisely calculate the height of the building from the simple equation. So most of the people here ask me, but Mr. Kamil, it was not said that I can use the watch or a stopper to count the time. The answer is, it was not said that you can't. So if you are limit yourself, if you say that you are only to use manometer, all the limitations are in your head, and actually you limit yourself. You put your constraints by yourself. So first alternative answer is you can just drop the manometer and measure the time, and then calculate the height. Another example, you can measure the length of the building's shade, and then measure the length of the manometer shade. And then there's a very simple proportion formula based on which you can calculate the height of the building. What is the other solution? The other solution is like follows. So you can tie the barometer to the rope or the line, climb to the top and bring it down, then measure the length of the rope. Then you will have quite precise result of the height of the building. And again, some people are asking, but it was not said that I can use the rope or the watch or something. It was not said you can't. Another solution, you can just give the barometer to the construction engineer in exchange for the information about the height of the building. And this is the way to achieve, I suppose, the most precise information about the height of the building. But unfortunately, these are just examples of possible solutions. Again, remember, most of the people are stopping after generating the first solution, and usually the first solution is the most obvious solution as the less creative solution. Why it is like that? Why people very rarely find out other solutions than the first one? That's because our brain works by using patterns of information. What does it mean? To simplify our decision-making process, if I say manometer, your brain instantly connects the manometer to the whole pattern of different informations about the size of manometer, the goal for which manometer is usually used, the price of the manometer, the color, etc., etc. So you use some kind of a pattern of different informations related to manometer. So the result is that if I'm saying manometer, instantly your brain connects it with the process of measuring the pressure. So the only solution that comes is a solution related to measuring the pressure. So to improve the creative process, to improve ideation process, what you need to do is try to make some kind of a disconnection, some kind of a, breaking the pattern down and disconnecting the elements, disconnecting the informations. What does it mean? First of all, you try to split all the informations apart and then try to reconnect it, create a new pattern in which maybe you will not include some of the information, you will not you will not use the information about the pressure measurement, but you include the information or your experience from the area of negotiation or from math or algebra, etc. Okay, so rule number 2, remember you can question everything. So if you remember the rule number 1, there is always at least one more solution. If you have a problem with finding some more solutions, go to rule number 2 and try to question everything. But let me give you an example. If you consider the business card, if somebody asks you to design a new business card, usually what you take under consideration are parameters like, some kind of a logo you put, the place of the logo, where you put the logo, what kind of a font will you use, what kind of colors, etc., what kind of data you put into this business card. But most of the people even do not try to question other parameters of the business card. Let me show you some example. Why you do not question the thickness of the business card? You can make it very thick. Why you do not question the size and the shape of the business card? Most of the people are, thinking the business card has to be some kind of a, square or rectangle, but it actually doesn't need to be like that. Almost nobody does not consider changing the material of the business card. Almost 100% of business cards are made on paper. Also, you do not think about how you shape the text on the business card. Usually these are just the lines, but nobody said it has to be like a line. So as soon as you start to question some basic, paradigms, then the new areas for other alternative solutions appear. So it's like here, the business card could look like a balloon even if you want it. So only limitations, the constraints are in your head and are as a result of the patterns you use during your thinking process. So if you are trying to deconstruct these patterns, if you are trying to question everything, then there is a chance, quite a high chance, that you will come up with new creative solutions. So just to give you another example, that's my suggestion for the very simple exercise. On a piece of paper, please write down at least 5 to 10 things you can't do with a fork. Let's imagine a fork and write down at least 5 or 10 things you can't do with a fork. Go on. I think you're very creative and you are able to find out even 100 things you can't do with a fork. But 5 or 10, it's enough for now. If you get it, now let's try this. Look at these things you write down as things you can't do with a fork, and then try to question size of the fork. First of all. So let's imagine that the fork actually could be very, very small, possible to see only under microscope, or the size could be of the universe size, could be very huge. Let's consider material. We used to use a typical fork like 10 centimeters, but made of steel. But consider different materials. Fork can be produced with a glass, with gold, with plastic, with a rubber, with some composites. Let's consider proportion. And let's consider temperature of the fork. Could be very hot, could be very cold. Let's consider different weight, etc., etc. You can question everything, remember. And then if you start questioning everything and you go through your list, 5 to 10 things you can't do with a fork, you will quickly find that actually there is no such a thing in the world you can't do with the fork. What is more, I can put a hypothesis and we can discuss it. You can do everything with everything as soon as you are able to question some limitations, to question some paradigms. And this is creativity. These are just examples of what you can do with a fork. And guys, rule number 3, think. And the second part of this rule, do not think. Let me explain what do I mean. A lot of people in the world history has come up with brilliant ideas, but what differentiates these people, these innovators, from the other group is that they have been thinking a lot. So if you want to come up with a really creative idea, brilliant idea. First of all, it's your job, but you need to think about it. You need to think about the problem. You need to think to look for the solution, and you need to think long enough to plant a kind of a seed in your brain to launch a thinking process which will work even if you will be sleeping, even if you will be taking a shower. And probably most of you has experienced this this very brilliant moment when doing something relaxing, like dreaming, sleeping, taking a shower, walking along the forest. Instantly you come up with a brilliant idea related to the problem about you had been thinking like 2 days before. So this is exactly how it works. First, you need to plant the seed. So you need to think a lot. And then sometimes the best way to come up with the innovative idea is to stop thinking and to have some rest. Remember, have some rest. Stop thinking, keep a distance, take some distance to the problem, forget about it for a while, and you will be surprised that your brain, even without your conscious control, if you planted your seed successfully, your brain will work on the topic and will surprise you with the solution, sometimes even without your conscious control. This is how it works. So guys, to summarize, first of all, remember there is always one more solution. This is the rule number one. Try to look for another solution. If you have only two, go for the third one. If you have three, try to go for the fourth one. Remember there is unlimited number of solutions for every single problem. If you have some kind of a difficulty to come up with more solutions, number two, you can question everything. Try to question all paradigms which are related to the problem. Try to question all the parameters. Try to question size. Try to question weight. Try to question everything which stops you from generating the other solutions. And if the number one and the number two, these two rules are not enough, and you are not able to come up with more solution, so number three, so have some rest. Take a break. Stay relaxed. Go for a walk. Stop thinking about it, and let your brain do the job. You will be surprised how it works. Okay, so that was the first part about some, let's say, three, from my perspective, my experience, useful approaches to generate more solutions. And the second part, I would like to shortly discuss with you, is it possible to to develop your creative muscle? So to develop your creativity. I'm curious, actually, what's your opinion about it? Because some people say, creativity, it's a gift. Some people say, I'm not creative, but this guy is very creative. This artist is very creative. I am not creative. Other people say that creativity, it's not a gift. It's rather a skill. It's like a muscle. You can train it. You can develop it. And I am definitely in the opinion that creativity, maybe on the very beginning, it's a very small gift, but later, how you use it, how you develop it, it's a skill. It's a pure skill. You can train it. You can develop it. You can be better on this every day, day by day. So to give you some example, let's imagine if you were 5 or 6 years old, most of the children, or I can even say all children, does not have any problem with creativity. When we are 5 or 6 years old, we are all like 100% creativity. Everything could be everything. No limitations, no problem. I can play with everything, and I can arrange everything from everything. And imagination is limitless at this stage. This is an example from Poland. Pure creativity. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying if you're a parent, but this is creativity. Actually, everything could be everything. I can use everything for everything. But we are a child, we are very creative. What's going next? Actually, then we go to school. I don't remember who said this, but there is a famous sentence that a human being is born a genius, and then it goes to school. And partially it's sad, but true. We are going to school, then we are going to sometimes to university, and then sometimes to the corporation, to the big IT company, for example. And what is going on? We are separated as human beings. We are, forced to use logical thinking, and this is some kind of a, very proven way to decrease your creative muscle. You are stop using this, and as like with the other muscles, if you are not using this, if you are not, forcing this to work, it gets weaker and weaker. And the same is with the creativity. As you are a child, you are very creative, I am sure, but then you go to school, you go to university, and then you go to work for the corporation, and not necessarily every time, but most often, your work is related to logical thinking, you are separate from other people, and this is the proven way to kill your creativity. But good news is, you can develop your creativity, you can train this muscle on the daily basis by using many things. I would like to show you today just three approaches to this. Very simple. You can do this. Everybody can do this. First, very important thing, you have to fertilize your mind through all senses. What I mean that the older we are, the how to say that the tasks we are doing are becoming the same. What I mean, even if you're driving a car is a very good example. If you're driving a car, if you get into the car for the first time in your life, everything is new. You need to learn how to operate the car. You need to learn how to stop, how to start, how to turn left, how to use lamps, etc. And it is very difficult. It's very challenging. So your brain is working on a very high, it's very difficult. But as long as you are driving a car day by day, year by year, actually for your brain, driving a car becomes kind of a normal thing, like a habit. What means that your brain actually doesn't work too much when you are driving a car. You can drive a car from point A to B, from your home to your work, or from home to university, and actually even do not remember what has happened on the way. And it's strange because every time when you are driving, the situation is different. There's a lot of data. There's a big traffic, especially there in India. You need to be very active. But if you are doing this day by day, even if the task is difficult, and if you repeat it one after another, one time after another, for your brain, it becomes boring. So, and you can do this with actually, it's happening actually with every single task you are doing. Even if you are working for the company and doing projects, and some people say, Kamil, every project is different, and every project is challenge. From my perspective, usually it's not true, because one project after another, and then after another, your brain is, learning how to do this, how to operate this. And what was the very big challenge from the very beginning, after 10 projects, 20 projects, is no longer the challenge. It's a very common thing. So the problem is that you can do a lot of things in your life, but if you continuously repeat doing the same things, even if they are difficult, your brain becomes just bored. So first advice, fertilize your mind, means you need to take care about the fresh input of new data for your brain, new challenges, new tasks. Try to do something new every day, and it could mean you can try to read different newspaper. You can try to order different food. You can try to express yourself for the different weather. You can try to travel to different place, different country. You can try to wear different shoes, different colors, different, etc., etc. The more differentiation in your life, the more different data, fresh data from all the senses, your brain will be much healthier and much more happy. So this is one of the key elements to let you be inspired, to let you be creative. It's taking care about, nourishing your brain by the new information, new data. And believe me, if you're reading the same kind of books in the particular area, and even if you're reading a lot of books, for your brain, from one point, it becomes boring. And even if you deliver a lot of, new data, it is no longer interesting for your brain, as long as you are not changing the topic. So that's my recommendation. Try to take care about a mixture of the data you put into your head. The second element, visualize your thoughts. So as you take care about nourishing your brain with the data and experiences from your travels and trying different things, then try to, for the best, on the daily basis, visualize your thoughts. Why it is important? There's a lot of research about creativity and about how the brain works, and about what does it mean to be a genius. And a lot of researchers discovered that there is one very common element for all the people which we used to call some geniuses. And most of these people have generated really a huge amounts of notes, writings, drawings, etc. What you can see on the screen are notes by Thomas Edison, by Mozart, by Leonardo da Vinci, and some scientists say that there is a very straight correlation between visualizing your thoughts and the way how the brain works. So if you are able to do this, try to, I'm sure you are able to do this, try to find out like 5 minutes per day to write down. Could be a kind of a diary, kind of a notes, kind of the reflection, maybe some drawing. But the more you visualize, the more you conceptualize, the better for your brain and the better for your creative potential. So I strongly advise you to do this. And the third element, to be creative, you need to take care about your body. Maybe it sounds strange for you, but this is a very old sentence that there is a healthy mind in a healthy body. And actually, it is how it is. Your brain, to be creative, to be efficient, needs to be well rested. And when I'm saying about taking care about your body, I mean two things. First, there's movement. You need to move a lot. The more you move, the more creative you are. The more creative you move, the more creative your brain is. And the second element, when it comes to take care about your body, you need to deliver a lot of recharge for your body, a lot of rest. Please take a look on the animals. Any animal. Animals naturally they are taking care about rest. They sleep a lot, they rest a lot, and this is good for them. We as human beings usually work a lot. We work a lot, we sleep just a few hours, and we want to deliver more, but finally the result is actually the opposite. We burn out ourselves. And when it comes to creative process, there is, I think, nothing worse for your creativity than being stressed, than being under pressure, than being, let's say, tight. So if you want to be creative, if you want your mind to be open for new ideas, for wide perspective, you need to take care about your rest. And when I say rest, I mean full recharge. Recharge, you can recharge by meditation, you can recharge by walking through nature, or you can recharge also with some very delicate movements like just walking. Yeah. Okay, guys. So to summarize, remember, if you need to create more ideas, if you need to solve the problem in which you feel stuck, there are simple 3 rules you can use. First of all, remember there's always one more solution. Always. Doesn't matter what difficult is, how difficult it's a problem, always there is one more solution. So try to generate more and more and more. If you think you achieve the limit, remember you are wrong. If you have some difficulty with finding some more solutions, then remember you can question everything and try to question everything. Try to put the borders out. Try to question paradigms in which you are existing. And the third rule, if you are stuck, just stop thinking. Just have some rest. Keep some distance. Take a break and let your brain, do the job. That's the rules and tools when it comes to developing a creative muscle. Of course, a lot could be said in this topic, but the first thing from my perspective, which are the most important, are, first of all, fertilize your brain. Take care about the fresh input of new experiences, new data, and the new, really new is a key word here. Second, visualize your thoughts. Try to keep a diary or make some notes or whatever. You can paint, you can draw, but try to visualize your thoughts. And the number 3, move and take care about the recharge. You have to be well rested if you want to be creative. There's no other way. Okay. At the end, I would like to propose you some homework, but maybe it's not a homework, it's rather a challenge. If you want to take this challenge, undertake this challenge, I'm sure it will be very rewarding for you. But first of all, decide about the reward. What I mean, try to set up some kind of the reward for yourself, like I don't know, going for a nice dinner or for the very delicious lunch, or I don't know, buy yourself something. And to achieve this reward, through the next 30 days, try later or every morning or every evening, try to write down 10 ways to make an upcoming day better through the next 30 days. Altogether, it will give you a 300 ideas how you can make your day better. But I'm not asking you to generate 300 ideas, but I'm asking you to generate only 10 ideas each morning or each evening. 10 ideas about how you can make your day a little bit better. After several days, you will be surprised with the results. And remember, you don't need to generate brilliant ideas at this time, at this approach. You need to generate just 10 ideas every day. Some of them will be stupid, some of them will be genius, but it doesn't matter. Actually, let's try to generate at least 10. Okay, guys, that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions, we've got some time to answer this. Also, you can post these questions to the Facebook page of Hult Prize India, or also you can send me an email. It was a pleasure talking to you. All the best.